Well. Greetings, everybody, to this week's edition of the Inworld Review. We're about an hour late, so if you're watching us live and you're sort of, you've got a sore bottom, we had a few technical issues and they didn't keep us off air, but we wanted to sort of sort them out while we had the opportunity, and we haven't fully, but a little bit. Anyway, this show looks at life on the hypergrid, destinations, people, and arts, basically. And if you don't know what the hypergrid is, I don't know why you're watching this show, to be honest, but it's a system that connects all the grids of the open metaverse, virtual worlds together. Some grids exist independently without the hypergrid, but if they do join up with the hypergrid, it means people can jump from one grid to another, and they communicate between them, carry their stuff with them, and everything else. A good example of this is Hypergrid Safari, which we often feature at the beginning of this show. And two people that are very frequently on Safari, as well as myself, are my right-hand man here. His name is James Atlloud, and he likes fiddling with knobs and preferably sitting down at the same time. Welcome, James.
Yep, I like sitting down. That's my superpower. Hi, Mal. Glad to be here.
And my wonderful co-host, Tosha Tyran, who is everywhere on CraftGrid. I've been traveling around earlier today to all sorts of places just to familiarize myself with some of the other regions and things on CraftGrid where we're now based. And, I keep coming across Tosha's little Japanese store. And then I picked up a log or something somewhere, and it said, "You've just bought for 0 credits from Tosha Tyran." Well, she's everywhere, and half the things she's putting out. I think it's wonderful. It's like you've got your imprint in every region on craft by the look of it. One way or another. Anyway, you're here, however, to comment and look at the week with the rest of us, and you do a wonderful job. So welcome to you, Tosha.
Well, thank you, James. Look at my hair. Isn't that what they call witch's hair? So I'm everywhere. You're right.
I love your hair.
I love that hair. It's sort of it makes you very easy to identify if I see you in the crowd on Safari and things.
Yeah, that's true.
Set the camera on Tosha's hair and zoom in. There we go. And we'll see a bit of Tosha in a few minutes and one of our clips.
Well, okay. My mother used to say when I was a kid, I didn't have red hair in real life, neither when I was a kid, nor do I have now. But my mom always used to say, red hair and freckles are the friends of the devil.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that was typical German.
Okay.
So it's interesting. I've got red hair. Well, it's grey now, going white. But auburn really is the actual colour. But oddly enough, I never have freckles. And even though a lot of gingers, as they used to call them, suffered from freckles, I never did have those. So I came off. I didn't get away from the red hair, but I did get away from the freckles, thank goodness.
Well, freckles I have in here, and freckles I really did have as a kid. Now, not anymore.
Yeah. Actually, that makes your avatar too. When you actually zoom in, you see the freckles on your face. It's the personal touch, It's like this guy here and his radioactive feet, So nobody else has radioactive feet like that.
Well, and I have freckles too, So freckles, I think they're great.
Yeah. They're fine, but it's just I do remember compared with some other redheads when I was a kid, I didn't have them.
Well, and to be serious, I don't mind to be the devil's friend either.
No, exactly. More anarchy, the better, I guess. I always find that amusing because people that go on about devil worshippers and or
well, yeah.
the devil, what have you, and everything else. What they don't realise is it's the yin and yang of things.
Yeah, but
You can't have devil worshippers unless you worship a god, because the
mm,
devil doesn't exist without the god kind of thing. It's
yeah, and
I
I
laugh
think worship in any direction is not really so much my thing.
No, definitely not
Mm,
my thing, that's for sure. Nor James, I don't think, really. I mean, I know James always knows my opinions there. So, yeah, yeah. So, the funny. I showed it with you, Tosh. I didn't think there was a picture purporting to be a parody of a NBC, CNN News in the week, and it had the Trump in his Pope costume. It says, so Trump declares himself Pope, and then in quotes,
oh,
I do poping quite well. Oh.
oh well.
And of course, they all roll up to the.
Let's
Well,
not spoil our evening with that
no.
picture.
So yes, we should get on to. Well, we're going to start off with.
Strange
We're going
men.
to start off with a little bit of the sort of carnival. It's a big procession we saw during the week. Let me get running on to things because we won't have time for everything today. But Wednesday every week, it's been back for a couple of weeks now, we have Hypergrid Safari. It meets at the clubhouse on the HG Safari grid. With a bit of luck, James has got a lower third. He can put up to that. It's and Thursday Ember, who runs it, who used to be here, of course, has a blog. Several blogs actually that she keeps a record of what's going on there. So I'm going to be starting with one of those. I'm just going to a couple of other web pages. No, I think we'll do it in a mixed up order today, and I just hope I get everything in. But it won't matter if I don't. There we are. Peeler, April 20th. What was that? No, that was something else. Pure Lunacy at Magic Land, and that's the one. Okay, one of the stops. It's actually the second stop we went to last Wednesday was Magic Land, or Lunacy at Magic Land, and these are some of the pictures that accompanied it. No, hang on. This is not the one I'm looking for. It's Sabella. Hang on. Sorry, I'm getting totally confused here. When did we actually go to? Was it the week before we went to that street carnival?
This is the second place we went to.
Yeah, so we started off at. Sorry.
Here we
Well,
are.
yeah. Sorry, I was right all along. Magic Land here. So these are the pictures showing the whole area. That those are posted with the blog. I'll rush through them quickly to give you an idea. But this is where we landed near a police box, of course. The TARDIS. There we are. The crowd of safari there. You can always tell Tosha by the hair. There. Not quite sure where. Oh, there's James. The feet are rather subdued on that picture, but never mind. Yeah, that's one of our hosts. And we're all hanging outside the cinema, which obviously shows some real world movies in there each week. Good choices too, from the look of it. And this is good. Now, while we were there, this procession came by and has some lovely music to go with it, which we're going to hear in a minute. I'm going to move straight into that video clip because it's great fun to watch. You get the idea here. And of course, we got a TARDIS to travel around. And then they took us around other parts of the region, including the Alice through the looking glass or down the rabbit hole kind of thing. We went down the rabbit hole. So yeah, and that's inside the cinema. There wasn't anything on the screen when I was in there, but I tend to wander around with my camera sort of away from the actual group until I've got enough footage. So let's move on into that. and just play a couple of films. Well, the first is just a minute here showing us when we arrived. Very good of them. They actually put out a sign for us saying "Welcome HG Safari," and this is pretty much a repeat at the beginning here of what we saw in the pictures. Hoopstone Theatres. And as you can see, apparently we count as a film when we were there. Kind of like that in Showtime. A movie called Safari. And you were both at this, weren't you, James and Tosha? You were both on this visit.
Yep, I was there. Tosha was there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you know what to talk about.
And I really like the what is it called? The procession?
Yeah,
You know,
Parade.
called the float.
Parade.
Yeah, parade. Yeah, wait, is it both?
The parade. I really liked it, and I had to laugh when they said that the NPCs were on strike.
That's right.
They failed to
you
appear.
are
They
very-
were on the floaters actually, and I think on the very first floaters they still appeared, but after a while they just gave up.
Yeah, there were the Mickey Mouse type characters on the first one, but then I didn't see any more. I mean, the floats were fine, but yeah, there does seem to be a problem with getting NPCs to res in complicated situations.
We
like
had a
that.
similar issue at HIE as well.
But
So,
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Wow.
We know that as well.
Uh,
Well, I've actually, as well as using region lighting, I even decided I'd pick up the music on this one.
and it, with me, the NPC thing made me grin a little bit because I never thought that the NPCs had so much personal character as to go on strike.
right.
I'm going to move forward a bit. And
For them,
there was a bit of an intro here while everybody was waiting for the floats to come along.
I was glad they put up a fence in front of the safari participants so
yeah,
they didn't
they
wander
told
in the
us to
street.
Well, they actually told us to get off the
it's true
road.
that it was not in the beginning, right?
There's the fence. They told us to get off the road, and you were asleep, James.
I was
because
asleep.
We thought you were going to get run over, but then at the last minute you got on the pavement and they raised the fence. But very moody music that goes. Perfect music for this kind of thing. Here we are. So out to the side street, there comes one of them. That's not the first. There's
I didn't know
here.
NPCs, not even on the first one. I
Yeah.
was wrong. I must have imagined them.
I think this one coming around now is the first. And yes, the MPs are there. It's Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. This is actually the only one that had any.
There are NPCs, you see.
Yeah.
I did not imagine them after all.
It looks like the wheels of this vehicle have been the same place James has been walking. It's infected with the same radioactives.
It must have been
Mars or whatever.
it must have been really a piece of scripting to get all these floaters one
Oh yeah.
after the other, not bumping into each other,
This
going
is
at
kind of-
exactly the same speed and taking all the curves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a kind of pathfinding thing. Initially, I thought this was something we were doing at HIE, though in the end it wasn't. But so you can actually create systems where there is a path, and avatars or objects can actually follow that path. They are stuck on it by and large because they basically sit on the on the object that then goes along the path.
Yeah.
But it's like having a script on the map, and marking out a trail, and then you just move along that trail. There's a great big fat bass or trombone or something in the background there. Sometimes the music gets a bit much. And here's the second one. Now there are no NPCs to be found on this, but it still look good. Sort of very electric colored butterfly.
Oh, and I asked somebody, I forgot whom, if I could hitch a ride with one of the floats. and I was told no, and of course I did right away.
Yeah, I know. I've got. Well, that's just the great finale of the procession here. As the last one
Yeah,
exits, Tosha's
yeah,
aboard.
but the real
My camera actually follows you all the way into the tunnel.
oh, okay. It was the real strange thing was that I did not see anybody anymore. Of course, when I'm focused on that float, I was
Yeah.
sitting on and I kept texting,
Yeah.
and I found it strange that nobody even reacted
Really?
to me, And of course, I was so far away that probably nobody could see my text anymore. Oh, it's really strange. A strange feeling for the moment.
Yeah. Well, it's things like this, it grabs your attention, doesn't it? You're not really bothering with the text window,
Mm.
and also, as you say, your view. You can either look at it from the air and think, "Oh, there's a color wandering down the street," or you can go close up and try and appreciate it. So,
One thing I don't think we talked about with Stone and Hope was the music, and I was curious if that was original music that they had composed.
it's
Oh,
hard to know. It, it's very generic, like fairground music.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the old Wurlitzer
oh, look
organ.
at I like this one with
Yeah.
with the invisible horse,
Yes, I guess it's the horse that didn't happen.
ghostly horse.
I just filmed what we saw. I mean,
Yeah, and
it seems fairly
I
obvious
really,
that something was missing.
I really like that. I mean, it was like that being online also. I thought that was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
He just needs two people instead of horses, two NPCs pulling him along. But that's the Cinderella kind of coach, isn't it? That round shape.
The
Yeah, could
carriage.
be.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it would match that the horse was a ghost.
Now there must have been some fun NPCs on this. It's a big float, but uh, everything else on it is res perfectly. There was no general resing problems. I guess it was just
Mm,
the NPCs on strike. Was it on
yeah,
strike? You said.
strike. Well, I'm glad for them that they could be so independent as to decide for themselves to go on strike because there are too many people around.
Yeah. Well, actually, mathematically, that could be a reason.
Mm,
The, the association of NPCs is holding a strike because there are too many normals.
yeah, exactly.
That looks like a no. It's not Big Ben, but it's got the Roman numerals, hasn't it? Oh, that looks like that's been taking a dip in the radioactive mud too. Can't imagine quite how it did it.
That looks
So
like a
they're
church
coming
on
in.
wheels.
Yeah, there was a tunnel they come out of, and then they go to the roundabout, which is where I've been picking them up.
Yeah,
And then they come down here, and as they disappear, well, at the moment I'm still filming them coming in, but as they disappear, it's they go out the other end, round another roundabout, and into another tunnel, and
and
then
there they disappear.
ultimately disappear. Yeah, and I think it de-reses after a while or something. You'll see something
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
Well,
And
something happened while I was filming you disappearing into the
I know,
dark.
I know. I was sitting on it, and when I noticed that I was sitting on it, was just a moment when the float went into the tunnel, and I thought, let's see what happens now. And then it made woof, and it was gone, and I was standing there like a dummy.
Where it's allowed me to exercise something that's very common in cinema, and that is the expression "fade to black."
Oh yeah,
You faded black.
yeah. Oh,
Actually,
here's
it means something else. But oh yes, there's
Dabici. Look at that.
Davichi. That's it.
Avicii.
So
Yeah,
Davichi was on safari, I guess. So he obviously found a sea.
That would be a she, Mal.
she had
Yeah,
the same idea as I did.
it's yeah. And is that an NPC? I don't know what it is. not my cup of tea, basically. But I think, is it this one that you climb on? I'm not sure.
I think so. I'm not sure anymore either.
I think it was this one. It was something. Yeah,
Because
there
when
you
I
are. There, you've landed. Yeah,
uh,
can't
when
miss
I
you. You look
sat
like
on it, I
a bug on the back of the dinosaur. Look at that.
when I sat on it first, I could not see it. I could not see where I sat on. I just
Yeah,
thought I
I had to go
feared.
to the air and zoom down to get a look.
As sits go, that's
Um,
a pretty good sit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now you can see the way they're exiting, basically. Yeah, both the stops. This was the second, but both stops on the Swiss Safari were really quite full. Um, the other stop was well, we'll see a glimpse of it in a minute too.
Yeah, I think we were somewhat more than 20 on the safari.
Yes, it's a big. Actually, all ever since the new season started, it's been pretty good turnout for all of them.
Uh,
I was a bit disappointed with the first two. I think it was the first two, but you know, the variety is the spice of safari, so to speak. Particles going off there, and a solitary float makes its way to the end of the procession. I need to do my Michael Dimbleby thing. Elric Merlin's the one to narrate this kind of thing. And now we see the two remaining floats disappearing towards the tunnel as the procession comes to its ultimate end.
hours later.
Hours later, yeah.
Almost the
But
tunnel is
here we
reached.
go. It's about to complete. Yeah,
Yeah,
here we
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Get a close up of
That is really
something. There we are.
that
Trying
was really cool, mate, with the different shades. You go into it and it gets darker and darker all the time. And just when you think you're all the way in, it goes bloop,
Yeah.
and you're alone.
Yeah. Where am I going? Somewhere. Not quite fade to black. That's no, not quite there yet. Oh, that's it. There you
Yeah,
are, and
yeah,
it kicks
yeah,
you
yeah,
off.
yeah.
and,
That was a fun ride.
it was. I mean, I thought we had to show that. I mean, it's almost as good as
Yeah.
being there, really, watching that. I think. Right, hang on. Is this? Okay, right. This is more film of the region. I wonder if I've got this in 2042, 2048. Okay. Well, the town itself was rather odd, and of course they had the Mad Hatter's Tea Party at the place underground here. Um, it's you had to sort of follow it in a certain order, and you meant to jump down the rabbit hole and then follow various routes to other
Oh, okay,
places, and
yeah.
it didn't work
Yeah.
that well actually. So I think I've been here before to a similar sort of build. So eventually I did it in camera. Oh yeah, and you end up in another region completely. Oh yeah, back at the police box. That's a bit boring, isn't it? Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, the back button in Firestorm didn't actually take you back to the previous scene. It took you back to the landing area, which wasn't very helpful.
Oh, it did not do that to me. I was going into the rabbit hole. I fell and I passed the first one. I fell into the second one, and then I was there all alone. And maybe I came back to the start too. I remember now.
Yeah, I got absolutely stuck somewhere, and the only thing I
Yeah,
could do was press the back button, and lo and behold, I was back at the TARDIS.
yeah.
That's all the pride of fair, really, isn't it? It was a very this Magic Land. It was called, so it was very picturesque. Oh, that was quite
Yeah, it
short.
was quite amusing.
Oh, no, that wasn't the end of it.
And
The
there was
music
some
stopped.
fun rides. Did you go on some rides?
No, I was so busy filming, and well, let's just say I've tried that in the past, clicking on the ride while I'm filming, and all hell breaks loose. You know, I can't control my camera, and I don't know where I'm going. Yeah, actually, that's it happened here. I went up somewhere, and as you can see, I got stuck, and I was pulling up my menus, trying to trying to get on top or wherever, figure out what I was meant to be doing, and it didn't happen. I just ended up teleporting back. Oops, wrong bit. That's a lovely picture, actually, that starting picture. Right, I did find my way, of course, to the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. As you can see, I'm sat there, I will say, enjoying myself. A lot of tags showing here, actually. Should have killed the rest of the interface, but never mind. These are they're just so iconic, aren't they, for the Alice in Wonderland stories. You always know what who most of these characters are, especially the Mad Hatter. These were nice too. Some of these books had like little animated pictures in them. I'm not sure why it's restricted to 18, but that's what it said. That actually, where it says amusement park, is the well, yeah, you follow it and it takes you out into the greater region.
Did you go on any of the rides, James? Yeah, James.
No, I didn't. I don't remember what I was doing, but as usual, I was multitasking, and so I was
Oh yeah.
probably dealing with support tickets at work. But I was there.
Oh, I did a James there. I didn't quite get into the right place. It's funny you're asking about the music. This music takes me back to my childhood. It's like it's a nursery rhyme, something about riding on a bicycle for two.
Because I heard a lot of people talk about the really great rides, but I didn't find anyone. That is one I found, but it did not do anything. I just sat there waiting, and then it was time to go back to the second destination.
That happens all too often, doesn't it?
I previously had a visit there. I've done the alien abduction ride, and that's kind of fun. Yeah.
All right, this is where I moved out then, and I just started to take some aerial footage of everything. Didn't go on any rides, but I tried to get a feel for the and move around. I love the escalator. Just got used to the water, and then on the other side, it's a giant escalator.
That seems to be a ride too. That lifts you up there and then takes you around on a boat or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a vehicle. If you stand off, you fall off.
I'll have to go there again because, like somebody said, I love those rides, those virtual rides. I don't get sick.
Yeah,
because in real life, I would never.
Mind you, I'll tell you something. I mean, in real life, if I used to be furious for climbing mountains and things, not Everest or anything, but Snowdonia and places. And I was really stupid. I would get to a certain height, then I would turn around and look at where I come, and I would just get panic, fear of heights. And one thing actually I still get when I watch, especially drone footage used in films now, but also in the virtual world, I still feel that sense of height.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very, very odd. I mean, if a build is good and immersive enough, it almost does what real life does. In sort of
No, when I was a kid, I remember I would go on any ride. It couldn't be high enough and fast enough and enough curves and I don't know what. But then as I became older, it stopped. I think when I was, about 20 or something like that, I wouldn't go on any rides anymore.
Yeah.
And that's why it is so fun to go on rides in the virtual world because
It's safe.
can just go and it doesn't, well, or for at least for me it is like I can just go and no more fear and no seasickness and no
Yeah.
nothing,
Oh, for sure.
So it's really funny.
It's funny, I guess, when you're an actual kid, you don't know what fear is. It's like a thrill, and
Mm,
the parents do this. Oh,
mm.
but I always think, is it safe? Even if it is safe, though, the actual thing of being high up and um, those helter skelter rides and things, I'd be throwing up with constantly. So, the Palace of Prosthetics. That is an interesting name. A lot of these buildings look like they're from the pirate town set. And you feel like you know this music. I guess it's recurring themes. I think that chair is not really meant to be there. Looks like I was getting a bit stuck there. Oh, now that wasn't very helpful. Down wasn't down, and up wasn't up, and this way went any which way. I always like these symbolisms of the cards there as well. It's like I love chessboard symbolism as well. Yonder. Oh, what blue yonder? What the blazes? I'm sorry, you've just temporarily had an alarm go off and I pressed on it. I didn't expect it to take me somewhere else.
Oh yeah, this was
Oh,
the only ride I tried out, this very one here. I sat on it and that was it.
yeah.
It didn't take me anywhere.
And it's all got the music's mixed in with all these noisy overdubs from The Simpsons and stuff. And it was actually
Mm.
a bit overwhelming. When the voices came in, but I cammed away quick enough, I guess. That was that looks that. Well, I probably wouldn't have minded that one. Back in the noisy bit. Okay, well, I think the trouble with this music is it stops us talking over it, doesn't it? I'm going to move ahead a bit here just to see if there's anything we. Oh, yes, this Star Warsy bit. Galactic regulations require that all carry-on items be safely stowed beneath your seat. And flash photography and smoking are absolutely prohibited while aboard. Thanks. And to have a nice flight. the one for Star Wars fans, basically. Pretty obvious. Oh, and then, yes, I got a visitor in there. These
could you
indoor
turn
places.
could you turn the sound off? It's good.
Yeah, it gets a bit much after a while. And these indoor places are
And
actually
it's not getting better.
yeah, they're not so easy to film. So yeah, but yeah, the parade was the thing really. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that was pure lunacy, and I'll just give you. I don't know where. I should be able to get the address by clicking. Here we are.
I'll put
And,
the I put the
you've
open
got
sim.
that.
Yeah, I put it up on the lower third, the open SimWorld listing, and that has the grid address and all.
Right. Okay. So Neverworld Grid. Yeah, Magic Land. And yeah, lovely, lovely. Okay. So the other place we went at the beginning, in fact, on Survivor was Sibella, and this was well. I didn't understand a lot of what was going on, and I think there was a gaming element here. Did you get that from the conversation, James, Tosha, or was it just the? Was it just the build? I don't know. I got the impression some of this was to do with gaming. Lovely build.
Oh yes, it was. Sorry, it took a while to refresh my brain. It's based on Elder Scrolls, and this is
right.
a rebuild of a city in Elder Scrolls called Markarth, which is basically it's a dwarven building structure, and this was amazing. I couldn't believe all the detail on this build and the size. It was. We
Huge.
walked and walked and walked. It was huge. Yeah.
Because it went up the mountain, you know. This was the landing area, which seemed well. It looked from a distance a lot more smaller than it really was. It looked like there was a lot of it, but not nearly as much as when you got there and realised you were getting panning in and in. You know, and the scale of it was really something. I mean, the difference in height between.
The build was really wonderful. I really, really enjoyed it for the build.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
me as well. And it was very true to the game. It was very true in the styles and the textures.
Yeah, the textures on the buildings as well.
Oh yeah, the builder. I don't remember his name now, but the builder said that he was playing the game, and while he was playing it with his smartphone, he took the pictures of the textures.
On the smartphone,
and then he used them on there. Yeah.
So you can play Elder Scrolls. You can play on smartphones these days. Mind you, the screen's a bit small.
No, I think he used the smartphone camera and took pictures off the screen.
Oh, and took the shot. I'm with you. Right. Okay. Some of the animated gifts.
Yeah. What if not the smartphone camera would you use to take pictures? Call up and say, please send me this picture.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I simply take a snapshot using the machine I'm in there on.
Oh, no, he used the smartphone. Well, that was really a wonderful build.
This has a beautiful sky. In fact, on the film, when we get to it, if we get to.
Oh, look at that. This is where they hammered all these red arrows that you find everywhere.
Yeah, clever idea. Oh, we wonder where those red arrows came from. Oh, here it is. And actually, that building got to me. It didn't feel like it should have the windmill on it. It just didn't kind of blend. Well, it was, you know, and it's moving, and you can see that it's pulling the thing in underneath. It's just something about the architecture. It feels like windmills a different era or something. And more mechanics there. Anyway, wonderful stuff. So let me switch to what have we got here? Yeah, this looks like it. 2047. Oh, 2145. Oh, hang on. Need to put these in the right order. In fact, 21, 2048, and no, that's right. Here we are. So yeah, a few clips there. There's Kelso heading on down the ladder before everybody else has even arrived. This is this Max Hill? The voice?
I don't know.
I'm not sure actually. It's yeah. Everybody's slowly arriving, including the Brims. But Kelso was there, and he found enough pathways to wander along. So
that I thought was a great trick. These endless
rope
walkways and with the stairs going up, and you did get on one of the first stairs on the bottom, and bloop, you were on the top of the stairs.
Little local
That
TP.
was,
Yep.
yeah, I thought that was really cool. Knee-saving stairs.
Yes.
Yeah, I used some of those ones. I had like paving stone, and when you got to a certain one, you trod on it, and it TP'd you
Yeah.
up a level or down a level. And you
Wouldn't that be great in real life also? Well, there are many things that would be great in real life.
So much be great in real life, yeah. NPIRL, which weren't the case. But yeah, the whole mood of the mood, the mixture of the buildings and the landscape and foliage too, it all fits together very well. Come on, camera. What was I up to? Yeah, so everybody got down there in the end, and it looks like Elsa found his way back as well. Yeah, there's these statues. I think I may have grabbed a copy of that. I like filling out. I like having statues in gardens and things. All right, let's move along a little bit here. Oh, right, I thought something had gone a bit skew with there, by the look of it. Okay, let's move to the next one. Starts with a view off the coast, so to speak. I think this was well, it didn't really matter. From one side of the island, you could see masses of buildings and this impression of great height. From the other side, it looked more sparse, but wasn't, of course, when you got round to it. And as I said, I love this sky. In fact, I managed to. There's a couple of pictures coming up where there's a sort of statue of like a goddess type creature, I think, framed against that lovely sky. Right. But the detail, I mean, it's not all you need, every recycled bits, but the detail in the stonework here, it's sort of the carvings that make up the walls and things. There's some bits here that reminded me, those what did they call them, 2.5D games or something way back when, where you had this aerial view of little pixelated characters, and you followed them around, and you could move in a little bit, but it was all kind of pixel things, and you move up to a level, but you'd always see them walking against rather innate sort of structures that they built with pixels, and some of the long shots here reminded me of that. More statues. There we are. I always get stuck when I move the camera indoors. It's terrible. Some unless particles.
It's just a beautiful build. This also, all the things were beautiful on that symbol.
Here we go,
You know,
against that statue against the sky. You know,
Yeah.
it's lovely. It's
Yeah.
like a still shot.
yeah, right.
But when you pan around in the sky, of course, it's there's a great big burst of light on one side. It's not all just outer space shot. Well, it is, but different. Little details there. Sacks of grain or whatever they are. So basically, you're saying this, all the elements here tie in with the game.
Oh, definitely, right. And I recognize a lot of the statues. Azura is there, Devilla, and these are goddesses and gods from the Elder Scrolls universe.
Oh, there's the sky again. Right, Elder Scrolls. Okay, I've never played it, but I'm not really a gamer. But
No.
I just get shot down in the first frame.
Say it isn't so. You're not a gamer? Oh no.
I find it the first computer game I actually finally played was Myst. I went Seventh Guest because I was able to get them on CDI and plug them into TVs and stuff. You know. But the earlier ones, no, it's not really my thing. I like the puzzle and the exploration kind of games. I don't like the ones where if I'm not on the ball, I get shots after being in there 30 seconds and have to start again. And you have the same thing happen again. Guess who that hair belongs to?
I know.
I always find you somewhere. Wandering off on your own is a rule. Yeah, I think you got stuck a bit there, actually.
No, I was not stuck. I just tried to open that door and I couldn't.
Oh,
Obviously.
yeah. It was one of the ones that didn't open. Yeah. It's got a nice framing there. Yeah, even the detail of those flowers are leaves, actually. Do you reckon there's anything here they've actually brought out of the game, as it were, being able to capture assets and bring them in here? Or do you think they've just totally recreated everything?
I think it's not beyond possibility that they could export some 3D mesh from the game.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things like that, but I didn't hear them say that they had done that, so I couldn't say yes or no. But they're very similar.
I
very similar.
I think they said that they built it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So modeled it in a 3D tool to look similar. Yeah.
There are some things like here, which when you try and walk up these stairs and things, it's very tight. And it's something you get in Second Life and OpenSim a lot because of the way we build with the prims and whatever. And you'd often find a game or another kind of simulation where the build is and exploration is all important. There's no user generated content and stuff like that. You'd often find those same staircases were actually really smooth to walk into and walk up, but the way the camera in OpenSim works and stuff, you keep falling through the walls with your camera or getting stuck halfway up the stairs. That's nice. Oh, naughty me! Getting caught taking a copy there. I do like that. I do like statues, especially ones that's half statue and half tree. So somehow merged into one. 6. Oh, that's the pause point. Let's head down. Right. Oh, there were actually some critters here in the end. There was some horses somewhere down below.
I saw Tosha go into the horse stable. Were you trying to ride the horse?
Yes.
Oh. Why am I not surprised?
It did not work.
No.
It did not want.
Well, we all know about raising horses to ride, don't we, Tosha? within a couple of hours of getting this region
Mm.
on Graph Grid,
Oh, okay.
we had a horse, and you meant to click the thing to res a horse and then ride it, and then we had a horse riding a horse and all sorts of stuff. And
Oh my.
we had to do something like completely reboot or something to get rid of everything.
Oh, but I have a wonderful horse raiser that really
Mm.
raises the most beautiful horses, and you can actually ride on them. What
Yeah,
I think is a bit of a shame if you leave them outside the horses. After a while, they disappear.
they
There's no
disappear.
rider on it, and then they disappear.
Mm.
Even though it actually says you can, you know, leave them running only or walking slowly or
I
feeding or
think that,
something like
yeah,
that.
I think it's a bit of like a region thing where they go idle after a while if there's nobody around to appreciate them.
Yeah, yeah.
But
There's a
yeah,
wonderful brand of horse in Second Life called Water Horse, and oh,
oh, I've heard of that.
that's a beautiful animal, and it animates so nicely.
Oh,
I've got,
the
I
ones
think I've got a photo.
that I have with the horse dresser
Hmm.
are also like that. They're really, really, really beautiful,
Yeah,
and they have the most gracious movements that you could
Hmm.
imagine,
Hmm.
and they have we call them saddles,
Yep.
sandals.
Yep.
Yeah,
or all the other things that they have around the head and all that also, and really beautiful. And you can change the colors and the type and
yeah,
everything, or you can take it all off and ride barebacked, and it's really beautiful. The only thing is that after a while they disappear if nobody's on them.
yeah.
But you can go up, you can go walk little by little. It's really
Wonderful.
very cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, the multiple reses. They kind of Lavia, who was on the show a few weeks ago, she sent me. We were talking about at the time a thing she's got called a tree reser, and so got it in the mail and thanked her for it and everything else, and then sort of I put it on the ground, thinking, oh, let's see how this works, and putting it on the ground is actually all that happens. You put it on the ground, and it immediately plants trees over your entire region.
Oh
And
my
like
God.
you probably know, I'd already put my own trees out.
Yeah.
I, and I'm still hunting around my own trees, trying to find stray trees that are actually growing out of rocks or in silly places. So, but trust me, it's the sort of tool you want to use when you've got a virgin sim, nothing on it.
Uh,
But actually, when you were talking about a horse reser, I'm just trying to imagine, something that spewed out a new horse every few seconds.
Oh, no, 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 no. This
Oh,
horse razor, the razor itself also is beautiful. You know how, I don't know if that's everywhere, but how
okay, I'll
they
say it again.
might keep saddles that are not being
Yeah,
used, on a wooden, some kind of a wooden thingy,
yeah,
and the saddle on it, and you touch it, and only when you touch it, that comes the horse.
yeah,
And I think even then, when you touch it, you can decide what kind of a horse, what
yeah.
kind of colors the horse has, or all
I mean,
that.
some
They have
horses that
very
get res.
complete menu
Yeah,
with
some
it.
of them that get res. Once they're res, you can actually take them to keep them, or they just it's like when we make NPCs and things. You go to the camera, you get an NPC for 10 minutes, and unless you keep it, you lose it. Yeah.
No, no, no,
Um,
no. It stays there. Well, it depends on how the reser is configured. If it is configured only user, of course, only owner, then only the only owner can,
right,
only the owner can res a horse. But if not, then anybody can come and go on your land and res a horse and ride around with it until for about half an hour or so he's off the horse. The horse walks so alone, and then the horse disappears again.
right.
And but they are really with a very complete menu. That they're really very beautiful. And they neigh and they eat and they can run and run faster even and It's really cool.
I've got a region here that, well, a little bit of the region here that's got loads of horses wandering around it, and they're all animated and sort of go on their hind legs and go, and
Yeah,
there's one
yeah,
that's the unicorn one as well, which is also well animated.
yeah.
But I think some you can sit on, others, they're just they're like animesh. They good quality, but it's just an animated character.
Oh, but the funniest horse, I think I must have that somewhere still. The funniest horse I had that would you was rideable, but it was not a mesh horse. It was sculpted,
Right.
and so it was pretty beautiful. But of course, they are not as perfect as the mesh horses.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was pretty beautiful, and it would also, you could change colors, and you could change the saddle and the blankets and, well, anything, and but the really funny thing that he did was when you were sitting on it and flying, and even if you're not sitting on it and flying near the horse would spread its four legs as if it wanted to fly with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was the funniest thing I ever saw.
It certainly sounds like it was an accident, as it were. Uh,
Yeah, it was very addicted to you.
oh, wonderful.
But yeah, like I said, when you were sitting on it, you could do as you wanted, as if you were walking. You walk, you run, you crouch, and all these kind of things that the horse would do with you. But flying also, you could spread all the four legs perfectly to the sides. It looked so terribly stupid.
I'm visualizing it. I've seen things like that. It's just, I don't know. It's something I used to get when I changed from like my pussycat avatar back to a normal avatar.
Uh,
Somehow the positions of attachments and things never quite fully. You just change back yet again until it gets it right. But you. Yeah, I come from a human and I turned into my cat, but my cat's legs were spread out, like wings. I
mm,
thought, this is not this is not me. I don't mind I love being a cat, but not with legs like that. It's you just take it off and put it on again, and usually fixes it. Yeah, there's so many different statues in this thing too. But I guess all the gods or something.
yeah, and the walls and the structures and the textures are all so beautiful.
Oh, there's James. Yeah, there's snazzy suit on there. Well, snazzy kit on.
That's my safari suit. I like that.
Yeah,
Oui.
yeah. It's more like a sort of ball gown. Well, not gown.
Reminds me of a suit I call.
Black tie. Is it a black tie affair?
Right.
That's a pretty avatar. I thought she's got a certain look, and again, framing against that sky, just looks like a
Hmm.
great picture.
Another thing I liked about this safari tour, I don't know if Thurza mentioned it, but I love the red arrows that were on the ground. The hosts
Yeah.
really, really planned out an excellent path, and it was very easy to follow.
Yeah.
I saw those, and because I was so busy filming and going my own way, I didn't use them. But I think it was on the blog a minute ago before we Thursday had a GIF of them manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't have a machine
Yeah,
manufacturing the red arrows.
that was
Oh,
really funny. I followed them around, and then at one moment or another, I found um, the manufacturing of the arrows, and I took a photo of it, and I said, when Thirsa puts her blog about this, I will put the picture of the making of the arrows as an answer, and I would
Yeah,
say, but I found how
but
to make the
she
blog, and she
wow.
already had it. I
she
got
got it
there,
too.
I totally missed that. Wow.
Yeah,
I think it was the last picture of her blog.
Okay.
yeah.
It just really kept me with the wanting.
Now that's this side when you approach it from this side, it looks massive, not in terms of height and everything, but like buildings at different levels. But you turn around to the other side, and God, look at those birds, masses of them. Turn around to the other side, and oh yeah, and of course there's a moon in the sky. I knew there was something I had yet to pick up. So, oh, there's one more bit for this. Yeah. Would that sky be an eep, do you think, or do you think it's just a normal wind line?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, it could be normal wind light. I don't see some of the effects, but I think EEP just refers to the system that gives you more capability. It all uses the same interface now. So whether it's EEP or whether it's just simple wind light.
Yeah, wind light always struck me as having limited variety in terms of, it's great at creating moods, but nothing truly exceptional. Whereas the EEPs seem to be able to be modified to do all sorts of things. Animation as well, of course. As I said, I don't really ever play many games, but one of the first games I ever did, enjoyed, and completed it after months, and I had to go and buy the books to cheat, was Myst, the original Myst. And I got the subsequent games, so I never finished any of them. But scenes like that, where you're coming over the rope bridge and through an arch and things like that, reminds me of Myst. There's a whole load of scenarios in that where you've got to go over a rope bridge to another island and find a lever and then pull the lever, and then you got to come back over the rope bridge to go another island on another rope bridge. And well, I don't know, just the moves, the feel of it, really. Right, so the very last clip here is a very short one. This, I think, was at the end. I think we were also pulling ourselves together. Oh, yeah, talking of horses. Yes, I love the Indiana Jones cowboy hat lying on the bale there.
Well, that really was a wonderful bit of safari. Yeah,
It was. Yeah, so both stops, and you can probably tell from this film. I mean, I've got probably nearly an hour's worth of film between the two of them. I remember when I finished filming, I thought, God, that's going to be long. Will we get it into one show? But yeah, I mean, of all the safaris so far of late, this is both of these visits are well worth archiving and looking at again. And there he goes, the hammer and tongy thingy, and
oh, okay.
It's belting the thing out. Yeah. So the gang finally in the same. Of course, this is why those safaris where everybody was off in a different place after time. I mean, I know that a lot of you were following the red arrows and stuff, but others were wandering. I like Kelso at the beginning, just wandered off into the distance as fast. Well, he did rejoin the crowd a bit later somehow. As did I, eventually. So, yeah, as I said, quite a lot of film to play with there. So, having got through that lot, which I have, oh yeah, finishing with a nice long shot of the island again. You can just tell the eyes of it and things looking there. Right, so moving back, as we saw, that was there we had.
I'll put up the grid address for that on the lower third.
Right, yeah, there's the colours are it's much more different red there actually, but yeah, That was the third from the end of the blog. That was that picture. Right. Okay. So moving away. So also has a habit of posting something on the Safari blog every Sunday, and I usually try and catch it before we go on air. And I did this week, and I did last week, in fact. No, I didn't last week, is what I should say. This is an interview with Paella Argus, who's been on OS Grid for a long while, and is obviously back on OS Grid. Now OS Grid itself is back. So she posted this last Sunday, and just a few photos, really, of her herself. OS Grid is back, of course, the big announcement from the other week. And basically she's reminiscing about OS Grid and her past on it to Thursday, a sort of generally wide-ranging interview there. However, today, so she didn't actually post on Safari, she posted on HIE OpenSim. And I don't even know whether James has seen this yet, but she did a special post where she interviews James.
I've seen it. Today. I haven't read it yet, but I know, and I answered questions for it, so I know that part of it.
Yes, exactly. So yes, you are a superstar in the written interview here. Talking about filming the fest, basically.
Yep.
And well, you can hear what James has got to say, or rather read what James.
There's my dinky avatar, Tosha.
Yeah. There we are.
Yep.
That's you. So that's you. That's you and your dinky. I thought that right. Or is that? I thought that was Pet. Right.
No, that's me.
That's you. Right.
Yep.
Okay. So James and his pet, or rather, the dinky and its pet.
James and his James.
Right. Who's the pet and who's?
Good point. Good point.
Yeah. Who's boss of the household there? I wonder. Got to be the cat.
Must be
the cat. It's always the cat.
That's right.
DJ Sophie.
Yep. She did some great work at the conference.
Yeah, we got masses of stuff of her.
Yeah, people really liked Sophie's edit of Dual Wave by Cherry Manga.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's ultimately, I think it's about 3 different edits of that one way or another now. But it's great footage to see.
And that's Pet Love.
That's Pet Love, is it?
On her Safari Grid account. Yep.
Yeah. And there's James again, of course, backstage with all the instruction stuff. Me telling them what to do in Discord.
I think that's very cool of Thirsa. She really did not only the Safari as the whole thing. No, Safari. What am I talking about? The HIE as a whole thing, and not the different talks, but also she made she put an eye on everything important, like James, what he was doing, like the translators, like all the subtitlers, all these people and persons she took very personal, so she presented them, and that I thought was very nice.
I agree.
And here, I guess, James, this is a picture of your RL desk, I guess.
That's where I'm sitting right now. That looks very familiar.
Yeah, it's when I've seen you on the other end of it, well, because a camera only ever zooms into your face, you don't see the left and right of you.
That's right.
The time. It's got a big space there, but actually you've got bigger space. Well, no, I've probably got the same, but an L shape around me,
All it's missing is yellow Crocs. That's all I see missing in that picture.
Well, you can get those furry sort of fleece slippers and then dip them in some radioactive. Dip them in some radioactive gel.
Yep.
And then when it gets too hot in the summer, you can take them off and put them on your desk where they'll be seen in the photo.
That's right.
Or you can even put them on your desk by the webcam, so they'll be seen on the webcam too. James and the Crocs, live on camera. Okay, and there is, that must be, is that Sophie again?
I'm not, I can't see clearly enough. It looks like maybe Thirsa on the left and Sophie on the right. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. It's rather odd. It's sort of, the article seems to be more about you and, well, actually it's about filming. fest, so to be honest.
Yep.
So yes, anyway, you'll find that one published on the HIE Open Sim blog, as opposed to the Safari blog, and that was published earlier today, literally about 20 minutes before we get. Well, actually,
fresh off the press.
yeah, it was 20 minutes before we started our call, I think. But of course, it's another hour before we came on air. So anyway, yeah, it's just good, fresh off the digits or whatever, the blogosphere. Right, so that was that one. Okay, we did that one. Okay, oh yeah. Now, last week we showed you this. It was from the Caffinio blog, which is a sort of craft thing, and it was about the craft village in Noilab 2, which has been rebuilt by Tonino Lane, and we told you about this last week. So me being me, I decided that I should actually go and film very quickly the updated one. And yeah, this is it, I think. Just check the time on this, 12:42. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so this is it's a bigger region actually, but this is the region they're talking about. It's just called Village, basically, or the sort of craft village or something. The houses on the right-hand side as my camera's going down the road, they're all pretty similar like this, but then the workshop sort of stuff on the other side of the road, which we'll get to in a few minutes. Actually, I'm going to race forward here because this film is 17 minutes. So I'm going to wait till we get to the end of the street there. You can see a very rustic insides and stuff. And then, right, here we are. We go out, and then this is the point we come down the road from the other side. And these are all the contraptions, that have been built. There's some solar panels at the back, but basically, I guess this is for weaving fabrics. And these signs in Italian probably more self-explanatory, but it's all the kind of rustic sort of stuff of the traditional village. And we actually had a safari here in the past, but apparently these
this is an antique farmhouse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and apparently this has all been remade. I can remember a lot of it, but I mean, apparently it's been remade, probably with better animations or something.
What do you mean you can remember? You're that antique yourself too.
Oh yeah. But I mean, I'm when I say remember, I mean comparing to this rebuild with the old one.
Yes,
because they're very, very similar. But I guess they've just improved some of the ambience and animations and stuff.
No, it's the whole thing is very nicely made too, and very explicative, and you can imagine that really well.
Yes, it was. It is a cheese. I wasn't sure it was zoomed in there. I think you can tell from the little holes.
Is it cheese or is it cake? Is it cake?
No, it's cheese.
It's cheese. It's a bit like the one I buy now and again. Emmental, I think. It's got holes in it. Well, it's quite a lot of cheese has holes in it. Come to think of it.
Tosha, how do you say that name? Caffineo?
Caffineo.
Caffineo. Okay.
That is a Greek name.
All right. I found the web address, so I'll put that up on the lower third. So if people want to visit the blog.
That is, Lico for some reason some years ago wanted of me to build him a Greek village, which I did.
Mm-hmm.
It's still.
Oh yes, it's still. I saw that.
Also, and there was the Cafe Neo, and then they must have gotten, or he had the idea, or this Noi Lab, they had the idea to use the name of Cafe Neo for a blog.
And it means coffee shop, right? Is it a coffee?
No, it means coffee shop. Yeah, where you drink coffee.
Yeah.
Not to buy, to drink.
Mm-hmm. coffee house. Yeah.
I think the
Cafeteria.
caffeine in the title I thought would give it away. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the caffeine den, the opium den for caffeine addicts, or something. Yeah. So do your best. Is if when I camera in, you see the spindle thing is there. A lot of this stuff is moving, but it's not moving so dramatically. From a distance, you barely know, but when you close in there, you'll see that strings are moving. The wheel doesn't actually go round, which is a shame, but gives you an idea of what's going on. Oh yeah, and the sharpening of the I have to actually click on that to get it to move.
That's a knife sharpener.
Yeah. Well, it could be anything really. That's probably a stone wheel for like they used to sharpen swords on and stuff. And the modern touch, in case you wonder where the actual power came from. And Tabby Fab, like that lettering, I can't read
Fabro. I don't know what Fabro is.
Is it like fabricate, manufacturing? A
Could
shop?
be.
Oh
Yeah. Now then, yeah, it's a workshop.
It looks like a smith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All the tools of the trade. And then
You see with the hot metal and
forging
the
in
fire. Yeah. It's a it's a smith.
Yeah. This is the weird one actually. I couldn't figure. Basically, but there's another floor above it, which I eventually find. One part of this goes up through the floor. And you can see that one moving. It's a pretty big hat belt, that one.
But what I think is really interesting, they sort of show you the different kinds of energies that were in use long time ago.
The bellows. Still use those for emergency beds. Yeah, the good old pump, really. There you are. Yeah, so this one, yeah, it just goes up there, but it goes up through the floor. I can't remember what happens. Well, basically, it went the showers, so that's water. Oh, it's probably part of a water pumping system.
A dream pumping system.
Couldn't quite figure that out. You see it go through the ceiling, and it didn't appear very obvious on the other side. But
I probably just forgot to hide it up there. But it looks really, it look very interesting because I think they are also very realistic. These old machines.
This
is like a big mechanical hammer that flattens the hot steel there.
This again reminded me of that Miss game, one of the few ones I ever got me playing a game, because a lot of it was to do with, you see things like this in the game and you had to pull the lever, and when you pulled the lever, all the things started happening. It's all pre-programmed and stuff. Pulling a lever in one half of the island would actually be unlocking a door, on another island. You're constantly getting back and forth, to find out what that lever had actually done. It's often very complex. But half the fun of it was just the sensation of it's just a mouse. You just moved your cursor to the lever and pulled, and it went.
But what I think is amazing that they made all these long distance energy producers. They all for the blacksmith inside, I think, or mostly. They just you could just really well see that all.
Yeah. I remember making wires to be difficult because it used to be long cylinders, but I wonder if there's a new kind of wire primitive
Yeah.
that's easier to work with. Wires and ropes.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Um, well, I think they're probably made with mesh. So I know, and Tonino doesn't like working with mesh so much. So maybe they are all prims. But with prims, you have to put piece for piece for piece if you make a
Oh, so
curve.
many. So many. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have, they actually do have the feeling of prims here, I think. I mean, they're extremely well made and detailed, but and the textures on them, I don't know. It feels more prim than mesh, to be honest.
Yeah, I seem to
Mesh,
remember that
mesh
most of it was made with mesh because
uh,
Tonino's building, and he likes more to work with prims
yeah,
than with mesh. But it's really fascinating because it's so explicative.
yeah.
You can see, and my must have been my grandfather's brother. I think he was a blacksmith. And when I knew him, he was still working as a blacksmith, and his place looked a little like that, with the energy coming from the outside and the fire inside and all that.
I love this figurine with the Pinocchio nose.
Yeah,
Well,
this is
something like that. Yeah,
yeah, maybe the wood, the wood
yeah, of
carving
course. Yeah,
kind of things
yeah,
they showed there, and
woodworking.
they have a Pinocchio right there. Oh, it's really beautiful.
And the water or the liquid, I should say, actually, I mean, it's blue like water in one place, but then it looks very gunky there. It's sort of
Yeah.
and no cheating on just another bit of water. Get the right color to it. And those, I guess, are seeds. They look like liquidy, but I think they're seeds being poured down there. More noses.
Yeah, look at making Pinocchios.
Yeah. That's probably a good. I don't know what they are. They're just prim constructions. They'd make good NPCs, wouldn't they? When you think about it, there are avatars that are stickmen. I suppose you could rig them somehow. Not that I want to wear one, but this is. I wasn't quite sure what this guy was up to. It's like a saw or something.
Yes.
Cutting through the wood, I think.
Mm.
And yet a few more contraptions tucked away outside at the back here.
Very beautiful.
Has anybody ever done a build based on Leonardo da Vinci's machines? You remember he designed an awful lot of machines along with his other stuff. So, there's the windmill. And the ecological message there, the windmill, solar panels, and and of course the water is coming down. That's the last thing. That water thing.
Yeah,
is
the energies, the water, the wind, the
yeah,
fire, and the sun.
yeah. Yeah, it's quite a long artificial river coming right down from the mountain there. So. It wasn't immediately obvious where the water source was. I presume it's a mountain spring or something. But it looks impressive enough. There we are. It's coming from out of there. I couldn't find the other end of it, so it's probably a water spring in the cave or something. And it's like a radio tower or satellite something. So that was it. Then, as you can see, if you pan out, all that is in the the farmhouses of the little village houses one side, and then all this production work on the other. I did then make. Where are we? Let's see what we're doing. Yeah. Okay, I made another 3-minute clip, which basically quickly looks at the other parts of the same island or region. I just couldn't wait to come into that. I couldn't find an entrance. I was busy trying to struggle around to get in there, but I made it in the end. That's a balcony, in fact. It's probably the real way in. Yeah. I know that chap, don't I? He's sitting in the studio, or bouncing, I should say. Snakecraft. Couldn't quite figure out what that was. It sort of got a feeling of like a backlot. Maybe somebody built it to film against. These little bits. That feels rather Greek, actually. I didn't actually visit the Greek bit. I saw on the map. Other things started happening before I got around to teleporting there. There's a Greek island in what many call the Italian Greek. Now, those booths look a bit familiar. Don't they? So I've been finding those out in all sorts of other regions. I mean, obviously, there are people who've taken the bits off Further for HIE, and they've taken it home to customize it, for HIE, but they've obviously kept their customized versions, or several of them sometimes, in their own region, which is nice. I know that booth. It's the classic HIE booth. It would be as famous as a single prim in 10 or 20 years. The HIE booth. Anyway, get a fair idea. To be honest, the region there is very nice and stuff, but it's almost not quite as exciting as all the mechanics of that street. But, now, the one I don't think we showed last week was one that was actually made last year, end of May last year, called Virtual Energy in Craft World, which was a film that a bit more to go. It's about that same region, so we'll show you that actually. So that way we've got this particular location packaged up for you. That's quite realistic. I guess they're all photo frontages, but give the feel of the place. We did that with Virtual London at one point in Second Life. It was, my own building here was actually in Second Life London. The insides were a bit different, but it was taken from photos of the outside of the building. Okay, this is actually one that was published, as I say, last year. Not quite sure what all that means, but certainly has changed a bit since then. But do let me know if there's anything important in the text that, that I can't read here.
Oh, I think they're only. Oh, can you quit the music?
Yeah, put music down a bit, sure.
Oh. I think they, on the top, the title says the wind energy before they had the hydraulic, energy, and now the sun energy. It's just basically what they give us a little bit of information, but very, very basic.
Yeah.
Of course, in 3 lines you don't explain sun. What do you call these? The
Solar panel.
things. Yeah, you don't explain them in 3 lines, or in two.
Yeah.
Sun energy.
Well, that blog post, of course, said that he'd actually looked at rebuilt and stuff. And actually, when I now played this film, and compared with the film I went and took the other day, this is a better film quality, but you can really see the differences. It's actually, it's the same place, but it doesn't look at all the same here, really.
Yeah. Well, they have built it anew. They put it
Yeah.
on a different place altogether, and they built it anew.
Okay. Yeah, so they've obviously sort of picked it up and moved it somewhere and then modified it as they're doing it. So it's nice, very. Feels to me like there are actually quite a few moving parts in this film that weren't moving when I filmed it, but not that it's that different. Oh yes, and here's
Blacksmith.
and the opening windows. Didn't try those. It's a thorough hammering. It's all the shape of that, not a wheel. It's sort of manipulating that. Yeah, that definitely wasn't animating when I went there. Well,
a lot of things weren't animating. No, this was in what you filmed before. You showed before. This was not animated.
Yeah, this was before.
And also all the wheels, you see.
Yeah.
That you were saying. It's a shame the wheels don't move. Well, they move.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, it
Mm.
looks really busy. That's why it's sort of,
You came too early
yeah, it's like the
or
rebuilds.
too late.
I think I've come too early to the rebuild because this sort of, it's better, it's more complex than this, but I mean, it's the animation that completely makes,
Mm.
this brings it all to
Mm.
life, which I'm not really quite sure the new one does so much, but. Those look really sharp. Now they're animated.
Yeah, but
Cutting the
they
wood,
look
oh,
good,
cutting the
no?
wood,
Or the
cutting the wooden logs. Yeah. So,
yeah.
so the big question, was it better before or after? I guess the new one is unfinished. Really.
You came a little too early.
Yeah. Well, when I read the blog post and said it's been rebuilt,
Yeah.
I thought, right, off we go, film a bit. So leave it a few months and go back again to see if we've managed to recreate all these moving wheels, I think. It's a lot here, a lot of scripts actually. I guess that's the drawback to the number of wheels moving there, working out the scripts so that they go in the right direction. And
Mm.
there's some of those cog wheels, one smaller, it goes in one direction, the other one is moving the other direction, the next one in the chain's going the other way still. So
Mm.
it's not a matter of duplicating them and resizing them with the same script. It's have to be done individually, I think. Jim's working at it. How many avatars here on this one makes a big difference too. Reinforcing the movement. I once went, there's an area of London here, a few miles away. Must have been 20, 30 years ago, come to think of it. It was like a local concert. But they had no electricity, so if you went, you had to take turns riding the bicycle to power the generator and power for the bands to play.
Oh, cool.
And it was hard work, really. And it wasn't just cycling; it was really stiff and hard to push because you had to actually
Imagine.
generate incredible amount of power. Right. Well, this
Generating energy and sweat at the same time.
This again is this is the same region on film, but I don't. This isn't my film. This was another. Well, it's 8 minutes, so we'll keep it for another day. I'll find it. Noilab, basically. yeah, we'll keep that for another day, actually. So, okay. So, what else have I got here that was kind of important? Not that one. Don't know whether we saw this last week. It's on the Out of This World grid. If you remember, we had Out of This World on the show too. And
Was that Geo?
yeah,
Yes.
Yep.
Geo. And I don't think I had that. I think I got this off him later, or he sent this to me later. So it's just a quick glimpse of his area. One of his areas, I should say. This is not Star Trek, folks. This is a UFO.
This is not Star Trek. This is real life.
Yeah. Yeah. Aliens are amongst us. And they built the pyramids. I forget what I was reading something the other day, which is some archaeological find that implied aliens had been somewhere in ancient history. I know her.
Tina.
Yeah. Nice music on this too, actually. It's definitely. Yeah.
I think that the music comes on this side always.
No, that's what we were trying to fix earlier, but for another day.
So I think that Jiro told the stories, and Tina and Lavia made the build and the decorations for it.
Yeah.
At least that's how I understood it.
And another spectacular sky. Oh dear. There we are, Tina. I guess that's the name she uses. Right. Okay. So how are we doing here? We've done editorial. Okay, it's not our thing. A good job we don't cover Second Life here, because at the moment the Fantasy Fair is on, which is a fundraiser for American cancer people. But it's a highlight of the year when it comes to extraordinary builds. Been collecting them here for maybe a different show. We'll see. So I think let me just quickly. Oh yes. Back to Cafenio or whatever.
Cafeneo.
Yeah.
Cafeneo.
Again, this is in English, but other bits needs explaining really. I know you mentioned the hidden like educational regions we never see on Craft, unless presumably they have an open day. But this seems to be Eduverso, Tuscany schools linked to education and territories. So
yes, they different people from Craft made different buildings in Toscana. What do you call it in English?
Tuscany is what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they put it all together. I've seen that all put together, but only in pictures also. Looks very impressive. And that's they use it for school, for educational purposes. And so you see here the harbor and different things. Oh, please, without music.
And I'll tell you what, that is 18 minutes. So I will save that for another day. I'll watch it and see if it's worth
Okay.
having to showing.
Okay.
Especially another day if we get our sound system for videos fixed. We're sort of halfway there. James and I will experiment a bit before we came on air. But we know what doesn't work, which is not as useful as knowing what will work. But it's halfway there, isn't it, James? That's what we say. And Alana, Jack Labolina C. Right, this is Fiona Simon was one of the creators who was on that first stop of the what do you call it? The fragile Earth thing that we covered the other week. So this is really a destination piece about his sea, which again, something I'll probably, if I can. It's very easy to hop over to other regions on Craft and then just hop back again. So it's much as I love the Hypergrid, it's very convenient if you don't have to use the Hypergrid, you can just jump on the same region. Anyway, yeah, this again is same address for the magazine here. You'll find, it's only 2 or 3 posts a week, so it's easier to get these things. So dedicated to Jack Labolina, who was a historic writer and sailor in the 19th and early 20th centuries. And this post is about somebody featured in that called Alana. And unfortunately, this is not a blog where I can instantly create a slideshow. But there again, you get the vague idea here. And the heart of an sea is the Metaverse Museum. So this is the sea that surrounds the Metaverse Museum, presumably. Right, I haven't clicked on that. Part of a vast archipelago. You can stop at other sims, etc. The Atlloud sims are the ones we've been seeing. Yeah. Anyway, you can read it, and good to see her writing on that blog too. It's not always Anna. Right. So we did that, and oh yes, the thing on James. Yes, we're at the end. We're at the end of all the. Everything important. Oh, of course, that's something else completely. So
that's a really beautiful picture.
That's that's one of the fantasy fairs from the other place. Golf.
Yeah, I know, but it looked.
Oh, we'll show people a little glimpse of it. I mean, if it was, there's no harm. It's not in the Hypergrid, but it's still worthy stuff when you see it. It's always been a highlight for me, actually. So let's go to Fantasy Fair. Yeah.
Hi everyone, and thank you again so much for coming along tonight.
Yeah, they did a lot of talks here too. Yeah, that's yeah. Oh, she does one every year. Do you know? I don't. So this film she's taken, covering all the regions, the 18 regions. The film is 2.5 hours. So I don't know where one would actually run this, but going through the various regions, they are beautiful. I mean, the top creators in Second Life actually do all get together to join their little parcels together to create a truly immersive sort of thing. So why not? This is as good a way as any, I guess, to give you an idea. What I will do, because I know you really don't want that music, do you?
Oh no, I really don't.
So I can just we just do it silently, and just enter different regions. And the whole, but some regions you walk through that sign, as it were, and the whole environment changes. As it actually, yeah, different wind lights and things. Yeah, the as you say, it's beautiful, but the the landscapes, all this, it appeals to me actually. There's a lot of this kind of build. And they're all a bit different, but they have that common feeling, and they all have to join together in the Relay for Life regions. So it's not like they're in separate regions, scattered all over the grid. It's like this is quite funny. It's funny when you get first person film from behind. It's in Britain, there used to be a treasure hunt TV series where there were a panel of people trying to solve clues in a studio. But meanwhile, there was this woman, Annika, somebody, and who went around in a helicopter, and the studio were giving her clues to solve the sort of thing. And she became known as the most famous backside on television because they had to film the way it was done. They had to almost all the time be filming her from behind, walking into environments, or better still, getting up into her helicopter. When I see filming done this way, it always reminds me of that, although in her case it was real life. So it's quite a good framing technique, if you get the zoom factor right, I suppose. And sometimes you don't try and film yourself doing the walking. that doesn't work. Sorry, I'm so busy moving through it. At least this gives you an idea of everything that's actually going, the variety there. It's hard to believe that this is 2.5 hours of film, so another sudden change there. Ooh,
we're getting close to 2 hours ourselves.
Something where James was, yes,
and closer yet to midnight.
Yes, of course, we started at 9, didn't we? So it's all very, yeah. Or 10 in your case. Yeah, okay. Right. Well, you did ask. So there's a bit more. There's a different one. Particle show. I like those things when they need music, of course. The Night Theatre is another thing that they're doing there. And World's a Fantasy Fair, another roundup of all the places, but that's only 20 minutes. So if you feel like it, we could do a little sort of special on what's happening over there at some point. It's a nice event. Right, okay, so you basically told me we got a wrap. We got a wrap. Yeah, I should add, James, you can probably on the HIE OpenSim blog and the YouTube channel, there's now a very complete sort of recordings of everything that happened, including the performers and the after parties and some remastering of the actual stage events that needed to be remastered, shall we say, because of little glitches, which, well, it's all your work, James, by and large. So good job there. And basically, you can, it's basically the HIE blog and the HIE YouTube channel where you want to get that.
Yeah, glad to get it done.
And yeah, there's yeah, and there's a few other sort of PR sort of things that I might show later. I've got a complete recording of Wolam Wobbit's set as well. I don't know whether that was duplicated anywhere. I know your best of is just extracts, but well, let's see. We might show that at some point. But
well, and each of the performers has their own web presence, so you could probably find any music that they do on other grids and on other channels.
Oh yeah, I'm just a big fan of Roland Robbie.
Yeah, he's good.
One hour 30 minutes of it. I think, when it gets going. But that is for another time anyway. But yeah, if you're interested in replaying both the entertainment and the more serious stuff from HIE, it's all there together now on the YouTube channel and on HIE OpenSim blog at blogspot.com. Yeah. Oops, that's not the one. Ooh. Right, no, I can't get it anymore. Right, okay. So I think we can wrap up. So we started an hour late. So, and of course, I keep looking and saying, "Oh, it's 11 o'clock for me," but it's midnight for you, Tosha. So James, the lucky one, he's probably not even dark yet.
Nope.
Right. Nobody says. Okay. So I think until next week, we will obviously have. Oh, right. Safari, of course, a reminder in this case, Wednesday. On the HG Safari region at the clubhouse, and that's at noon Pacific time. This week's destinations are going to be destination 1 is going to be a lady called Maia Antara is showing us the space fantasy build, which is high in the sky above Satori on the alternate metaverse grid. And destination 2 is Star Ravenhurst, is taking us on a tour of hell, ... and heaven. And then she says, bring your own wings. So those are 2 destinations lined up for Wednesday, which is always nice to know in advance. You might even be tempted to go along and have those beforehand, but you don't get the tour unless you go on the day. Yeah, so that's Wednesday. Okay, anything else to mention, James?
Nope, not from me.
Tosha?
No. Nothing to mention.
Nothing. Yes, I can hear you fading. I can hear you fading.
You said it all, and I'm fading. Yes.
We all are actually. I mean, when I seem to be going on too long, it actually means I'm fading, and I'm going on to just keep myself propped up. Right. Okay. So we're out of here. I'd like to thank James for all the technical fiddling and whatever. Thank you, James.
Yeah, sure thing. And I don't poke the dog unless there's a guest that really has to go. But if you'd like me to, I can poke the dog.
Yeah, I actually muzzled him because he had the habit of barking away. Right. He was barking away throughout the show. Right. But I'm sure he could. Well, no, I can't. I think I've removed the script or the sound effects from him. But I'm sure we've got. He's probably got a brother who can come on silently from the other side and go, "Whoa, whoa," yep. If needed. Yes. Or I can do it.
You sound almost natural.
Yeah. Sorry?
You sound almost like a natural dog.
Yeah, I'm proud of that. It's been my party trick for as long as I can remember. I learned it when I was about early teens, when I was learning French. And a northern British teacher with a northern accent trying to teach French was most amusing. And he had this gruff pronunciation of the French word oui, for yes, oui. And a bit of practice, you morphed from oui. And the Mao bark was born. Party piece for Omar. Scares the living daylights out of some dogs. They just, what? Scarper. Mind you, so they can get aggressive too.
If you do that for dogs, I don't think they mind too much. But don't do it in front of friends, people. I think they might be offended.
Oh, well, they won't know. Yes, no, yeah. They would have to know the story behind it. But, for most people, it's just a bark. How do you bark? That's a bark. That's not a affirmative word. Okay. So nothing else from you, Tosha. Sorry, I was about to say no. We want to get off to. We all do. Right. So I wish you. I'm going to say good night, but no, properly. I wish you all a good morning, right, or a good afternoon, or a good evening, or a good tomorrow, depending on wherever and whenever you are. And we will return next week. For now, it's a wrap, and we're out of here.